Vitamins are an essential part of living a full and healthy life. Failing to get the necessary amounts of specific vitamins can cause deficiency states that are unhealthy and even dangerous. And let's be honest, people who don't take vitamins are probably a little gay. Vitamins are essential for virtually all chemical processes within the body that create and use energy, such as digestion of food and nutrients, elimination of waste, growth and development, and regulation of cell function. Also, do you really want to risk looking like a little fancy boy? Vitamins work together with proteins that regulate biochemical processes, or enzymes, substances that assist proteins known as cofactors, and other substances necessary for good health. And as an added bonus, no one will doubt your sexuality again. Vitamins. Don't make them wonder.
Click the Rumble Premium button to join now for $99 annually, or try it for $9.99 a month to get the entirely ad-free experience and exclusive daily content from this show. Nick DiPaolo, Mr. Guns and Gear, Tim Pool, Russell Brand, Donald Trump Jr., Dr. Disrespect, and an ever-expanding roster of content creators and all the free speech you can eat, if you could eat it. Glad to be with you. It's been a little bit of a nutty morning here. We had a power outage because of storm warnings, tornadoes, and actually one of the buildings where our studio is, the roof and second floor was torn off.
Yeah, building broke.
Yeah, it did. This morning.
Some free lumber I'm going to use from some wainscoting in my house.
Yeah, it makes me feel bad because I was talking with family members, and I was like, stop, don't worry, just get in the closet, you'll be fine. I looked across the street. Maybe get in the extra closet, the one that's further back away from the windows.
I had my family go to the attic.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm new to tornadoes. I don't know.
Well, we'll be discussing Germany today, speaking of attics.
Oh.
So we have a lot to discuss, including Anne Frank. Germany has effectively jailed and been persecuting people for memes, for jokes, for unpopular opinions, for impermissible opinions. Germany, I know, you're surprised, just as surprised as I was. This is what J.D. Vance was talking about, Vice President Vance. Do we share the same values as Europe? I mean, an alliance, to some degree, means you have to share some value. Well, is there any more fundamental value than freedom of speech? We don't expect them to adhere to our Second Amendment values because they don't. We know that's kind of part and parcel for Europe. They're effectively a subservient, conquered people. But now, no freedom of speech? Does that make you rethink some of our alliances? Which also brings us to President Trump paused the military aid to Ukraine. Hey, that's great. Speaking of alliances, there are also foes. TikTok. There's some grifts going on TikTok, and that's kind of the theme of today, grifters. TikTok is a platform where propaganda goes to grow like a virus. And we'll show you some examples of people repeating the exact same talking points ad nauseum. Sometimes it's stupid health advice. Sometimes it's actually CCP propaganda. And that is something you need to be aware of. And Pam Bondi. No, she didn't give me this binder, but we're going to be talking about Epstein today. Let me ask you this. A lot of questions, but expect anything to come from these Epstein files? It's obviously been bungled. The rollout was terrible. And I think it's important for us to look at these appointments, these choices, and say, okay, who is actually trying to do a job they were assigned to do versus seeking the limelight? And both are important. Obviously, the press is important. The narrative is important. I understand that transparency is important, but not at the cost of doing your job and not at the cost of credibility. This is a time where we have to be pretty airtight about that. So also, we have a 7+1 as far as 7+1 things that'll get us banned from Germany. So if at some point, if you're still watching on YouTube, I don't know why, you see this, head on over to Rumble. It is a live show weekdays, 10 a.m., including, by the way, on Fridays. And there is no Captain Morgan today.
No, it's just the two of us.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm not here.
No.
Well, you're all.
Also, these guys are here too. Oh.
Yeah, no, everyone else is here. But Captain Morgan is not here. He was sick, but he shouldn't have told us he was sick because he could have used the tornado as an excuse.
He laid it on and said, I'm going to a hotel. I'm so sick. I have to go in a hotel.
Yes, to keep my family from getting sick.
Really?
That means he was
Gerald
sent to a hotel. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one chooses the airport Super 8.
Yeah.
So not underscore Firestine on X. It's not you.
Not underscore Firestine. It's me. I'm on Rumble. I got videos.
But you know what? I'm looking forward. There's a big difference between Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. We'll talk about that. I always try. There's only ever been one time where there's been friendly fire from this show. That's not what you can expect today. But there's a big difference between someone like Kash Patel, who really seems like he wants to gut the FBI, and someone who is involved in political theater. And I just don't like conservatives, people having their chain jerked when they voted with such specificity. But let's start with this. Easter is coming up, so I know what you're thinking.
Eggs.
Thinking of, well, yeah, eggs or rabbits. I don't really get the synergy. But of course, the resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Or I know some of you are thinking, trans candles?
People often ask us, do you make trans candles?
No one asks you that.
And our answer is simple.
Pause. Rewind that a couple of frames there, Toolman.
When she asks a question?
So what's this?
That is not. Oh,
That's Casey Anthony.
We had a power outage today.
Jeez.
Can you go back? What's that? That's an ass candle?
That's
what is he going to Yankee Doodle? It's ass candle?
Yeah, it smells like farts.
Yes. And then the next one, keep going. Well, the good news is she turns it around. It's
simple.
She also
There's
has
no one way to be trans.
the fupa cheese.
Yeah.
No one way to have a trans body. Our candles have always been and will always be gender neutral. If what you're asking is
Pause.
whether we create...
I will say this, though. If you find a niche and you fill it, good on you. You're a sound business person. And there was an outcry for candles that were, in fact, gender neutral. I know it kept me up at night. Let's continue.
Design with top surgery scars, bottom growth, bodies with penises and breasts? The answer is yes. We absolutely do. We even have a candle, onyx, depicting a pregnant body with top surgery scars. But for trans people who don't want surgery or can't afford it, a reality.
If they can't afford, pause it. If they can't afford it, they shouldn't be blowing their money on stretch mark candles. I can't think of anything that is less essential.
You think if you didn't have enough money, you'd just buy a round one.
Yeah, exactly. Just buy a normal Go to IKEA, get like 500 tea candles. I mean, it'll take a while for you to find your way out. Follow the arrows. Let's continue.
You could get unscented or underboob.
Your body knows more trans than anyone else. Not that you need me to tell you that. The same is true for our non-binary, gender, non-conforming, and genderqueer siblings. If you are trans, non-binary, or anywhere along the spectrum of gender, that is exactly who you are, no matter what shape your body takes or what the government says. We see you. We honor you. We're in solidarity with you.
Well, some of you I see if I look around the other one, and they, no matter your body shape, can anyone be within striking distance of health? It seems to me like all these bodies, as a matter of fact, those might as well have just come out of a mold. The fat, unattractive mold.
It's like she made a mold of herself and was like, this is how everyone looks.
Exactly.
Does it cost more to make it look like it has a muscle?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly one of the hardest things to do. You know, when you're a kid, you learn how to draw people with muscles. It's harder to build it. The point is this. We're celebrating not only mediocrity, now we're celebrating subpar performance. Look, I get it. You want, but no, actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't. I kind of got it when people would say, like, you know, Barbie doesn't all look like, well, there are some women who look like the traditional Barbie, but I get it. You wanted to have a chubbier Barbie so you could feel better about yourself. I don't get it. I don't get the candle thing. I don't understand. Has anyone been demanding this? Is this actually where we are at this point where we need to celebrate unhealthy, obese bodies in candles?
I can't believe I'd rather have Gwyneth Paltrow's candles. Also, you know what really upsets me is that watching this lady, I'm like, she's a business owner and I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like such a loser.
Well, the thing is, it's fine if you just sell your soul and your self-respect.
And my body, apparently. I don't know where she got the copyright to my body, but she got it.
By the way, can we also admit very, very lazy? Like, I cannot do sculpting, but I guarantee you I could just grab a pencil and I could poke some stretch marks into a gut and sell it.
Like it's sourdough or something.
Yeah.
Just make little marks.
Just imagine that's what ended up with Demi Moore and Ghost. That's what they should. Yeah, look, yeah. Fupa?
Well, if you can't afford surgery, you could just go and buy these shitty candles.
Yes, exactly. Just look at it longingly. Someday, I look like that.
If I can't get rid of my penis, then I'll just buy a candle that looks like it's covering one.
Yeah, exactly. Look, trans candles, I would imagine they don't smell as nice as like vanilla or lavender. That's just some advice for you. Speaking of advice, early this morning we acquired some exclusive footage from former President George W. Bush, who now is making the rounds and offering some ex-presidential advice.
Here's some advice. When dealing with the Chinese, they're like a dog whose bark is worse than their bite. But here's the thing about the Chinese. They eat the dogs. Isn't that silly? Like they never heard of a hot dog? Well, I guess that is their version of a hot dog, but anyways, I'm 75. I found that if you ignore their kablooey theater, the intimidation disappears. And that the Chinamen are very physically small in stature. And their asses are surprisingly easy to kick. Here's some advice.
You know, looking back, he doesn't seem that bad.
No,
The advice is sound.
He's got good advice.
You ever fought a
Foreign policy?
You ever fought a Chinese?
I haven't. No, not yet.
It's quite easy.
I look forward to it.
It's also cathartic because it makes you feel very big.
Oh, do you feel hungry 30 minutes after?
That's exactly. That's the thing. 30 minutes later, I want to kick another Chinese man's ass.
I'm hungry for another 5.
I don't know this trick you pull on me. I just keep wanting to kick another Chinese man's ass. Now, of course, I'm joking. I'm not actually advocating hate crimes. I'm just saying if you happen to find yourself in a fight in a bar and you have a selection between like an Icelandic or Norwegian, go with the Chinese. Now,
Go for the orange chicken. Go for the yellow chicken.
Yes.
Sorry, that was too far.
it's okay. It's not too far. We're on Rumble. If we have to hit the YouTube dump button, who cares? So this is something else that's happening. The fallout from Zelensky's blatant disrespect, some would say acting like an ungrateful pissant, it has now reached a crescendo. It's resulted in President Trump pausing all aid to Ukraine.
That sounds familiar, almost as if you already called that.
Come let Zoltar tell you more.
I'm gonna hit the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're gonna win the game, I guarantee.
If I were Donald Trump after that little stunt, I'd go, oh, it's no longer 50-50, it's now 60-40, and maybe we'll turn it down to 55 if you put some adults in charge. No more dollars. None. None whatsoever.
Come let Zoltar tell you more.
I'm gonna hit the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're gonna win the game, I guarantee.
I'm glad that people are, whether they're listening or at least we're in alignment with views. Hey, great. Yep. Pause the aid. Let's see how tough Zelensky is. It's not about wanting any more people to die. It's about wanting fewer people to die, ending this war.
Or to stop.
But we have to stop with a delusion. It's also about reality. It's also about truth. All right, you want to talk tough? You want to lay down conditions, Zelensky? Then that's fine. Do it yourself. It's the same thing, by the way, in your day-to-day. Hey, if you're an employee, you have to do what the boss says. You don't like it? Go create your own business. That's how it works.
Go sell candles.
Yeah, go sell candles. Speaking of grifters, this is something that I keep looking at this binder.
What's in there? Stuff I already knew?
Yeah, nothing. But TikTok. This is something that I want everyone to kind of have at the front of mind. I've told you that you need to be vigilant. That the left, they've been have you noticed that since USAID has gone away, the organic protests kind of done? Kind of stopped. Have you noticed since the gutting, all of a sudden, these organic protests, the pussy marches of the world, they don't happen.
Yeah, I wonder where they got the money from.
Yeah, that's almost like, hey, what are you going to do without your pallets of bricks? I know, that was fact-checked, but the point remains. So TikTok is similar. It's not just adversaries domestic, but also abroad. And you know where we stand on TikTok. I want TikTok to be brought under the umbrella of an American company because, unfortunately, there is a controlling interest from a company that's proxy to the CCP, the Communist Chinese Party. That's the issue. It's very different from other big tech. And when you understand the ability to disseminate false information, and TikTok is definitely the worst offender. Now, look, sometimes it's just BS health advice, and a lot of people jump on these trends, and then there's a new trend tomorrow. Today it's, I don't know, whatever it is. Today it's go walk across hot coals. Tomorrow it's put your face in ice water. It's drink this tea. Okay, that's annoying, and it unfortunately gets people to part ways with their money, and that does bother me. But then we end up going down the rabbit hole to actual propaganda that may be in the best interest of our adversaries. So I can't take credit for spotting all of these. Some people online did some of this work, but we made sure to fact check it. We made sure to vet it, to do our due diligence. And let's start with this first example as to remove all doubt. If you were wondering, you felt like, hey, maybe I dreamed that. I feel like I've heard this somewhere before. You have people on TikTok who are being given the exact same talking points, verbatim. They may change it a little bit, but when you look at the totality, you look at this timeline, you will see, okay, there's a concerted effort from a centralized source to spread information on TikTok. Here's the first example.
My dad is one of the highest paid nutritionists.
My dad's one of the highest paid nutritionists.
My dad is the highest paid nutritionist in Los Angeles.
No one believes him when he says these things.
He's obsessed with dark chocolate.
Pure dark chocolate.
There is enough magnesium.
It contains so much magnesium
that will actually help to boost your mood.
All you have to do is drink coconut water.
You drink coconut water. If you drink coconut every day,
it'll get rid of your face fat.
It'll help loosen up that double chin.
These are full of anti-inflammatories.
Putting beef tallow on your face.
This is like the most trusted one.
The one that I use is this one.
I personally use this one.
My personal favorite brand because it's just so good.
I realized they literally sell the same product on TikTok Shop for like $20 cheaper.
Oh, that makes it so easy for me. I'm glad your father is one of 19 of the highest paid nutritionists in California. There can only be one highest paid. That's the issue, right? And by the way, I know this because we say no to far more sponsors than we accept. And that's because many of them want you to give these talking points verbatim. Now, a sponsorship is one thing if you know. It's different if you're being encouraged to not just shill a product, but shill a point of view, an ideology. And we'll get to that in a second, propaganda.
They can't all be scams. I mean, some of these got to be legit, right?
Well, no, they're pretty much all a grift.
I don't know, man. I have a feeling some of these are sincere and honest.
My dad is one of the highest paid nutritionists in Southern California, and people don't believe him when he says these things.
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's real.
Yeah.
You can look him up. Dr. Firestine.
You're okay.
Right.
The funny thing is, I guarantee you there are plenty of Dr. Firesteins.
There's actually
S-T-I.
There is one, my cousin in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, she's a doctor.
Oh, okay. Well, now I know. Just drink coconut water and eat kiwi. By the way, the magnesium thing is such a scam. Just as an aside, the magnesium thing has been going on for a long time. We're like, well, you know what? Actually, it solves everything from bipolar to depression to Parkinson's. Look, if you're an athlete and you sweat a lot, you may need a little more magnesium. It's not going to solve your seasonal affective disorder. There's always a new thing that they are promoting. Today's, carnivore is tomorrow's magnesium consultant. Anytime something becomes dogmatic or one product or one supplement is sold as the panacea, you know it's BS. Please be on the lookout for that. That's an aside because now I want to get to propaganda. So
it's not even just ads like this. We've also have Democratic senators getting caught doing the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, they got apparently 3 senators. Who is it? Schumer, Warren, and Booker all saying the same exact thing from a script.
Okay. Do we have the clip?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's run this.
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down, they're up. Inflation is getting worse, not better. The prices of groceries, gas, housing, eggs, of essentials, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has done nothing. Goose eggs to lower prices.
Okay, so you see an example where it's probably some kind of BS supplement company, and now you see an example where it's probably coming from the DNC. All right, here's an example of propaganda that you have seen on TikTok, and we don't necessarily know exactly where it comes from, but it's pretty clear as to what the motive is. Bin Laden's letter to America. It's a good thing.
This morning I read Letter to America, which is Osama bin Laden's letter to America explaining why he attacked Americans. And I am ashamed to say that I not only have never read this letter, but I didn't even know this letter existed.
I just read a letter to America. I need everyone to stop what they're doing right now and go read. It's literally 2 pages.
Stop right now.
Go read a letter to America. I need you to stop what you're doing and go read a letter to America.
You need to take that cap off.
Insane. I just read Osama bin Laden's letter to America.
Go read a letter to America. Like seriously, go read it. Type a letter to America in Google or whatever you use.
You're not the boss of me. Osama bin Laden's letter to America.
The way this letter is going viral right now is giving me the greatest sense of relief.
If you're Muslim and you've lived in the U.S. since 9/11, you know more truth than the typical citizen.
I'm walking you along the trail here, this journey, so you can see what the end game is, and we'll make those references available. But here's another example, which may seem benign till you understand that the first step in getting people to accept, for example, a foreign, communist, totalitarian adversary is to, hold on a second, maybe start to believe, well, they're not that bad. Look, they have really nice trains and something, 20-second story.
Trains that run through residential buildings.
This city in China has trains that run through buildings. Then you look over the balcony and realize that you're actually 22 stories off the ground.
The subway is like a crazy roller coaster. It can not only pass through apartment buildings. You think you are on the first floor, but you are actually on the 22nd floor.
When you see a train going straight through a residential building, are you sure you're on the ground floor? Because when you take a look down, you're actually on the 22nd floor.
When I take you over here, we're actually 22 stories high.
You think you are in a normal square. You are in the 22nd floor building.
The real train passes through it every 3 minutes.
You might think this is the first floor. Actually, this is a 22nd
every
floor.
3 minutes.
And by the way, those are 22 Chinese floors, so they're like 18.
Yeah, they're
Western floors.
They're small in stature.
Yeah, they're small.
And their asses are
surprisingly easy to kick. Now, here's...
It's the worst building ever.
They said every 3 minutes?
3 minutes of train is going through your building.
Yeah, but it's fine, though, if you're on, like, the 19th floor. I bet you barely even hear it at that point.
If that was my apartment, I'd still be late for that train. Dang, I missed it again.
So the issue here is, look, I get it. You reject, and rightfully so, legacy media, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC. Okay, even Fox News. I understand that. But... You can't just accept things wholesale because they're on social media. You can't go, well, I heard this someplace once. And a lot of people do that. Know that there is a concerted effort. You are the product on a lot of these social media websites. And it is very different when we're dealing with TikTok because you have a foreign adversary who has access to your information and is looking to manipulate you. And here's something that's pretty alarming. A Rutgers study showed that the longer amount of time someone spent on TikTok, it directly correlated with their view, their opinions on China. So under 30 minutes a day, a 24% favorable rating as far as their view toward China. Over 30 minutes a day, it jumps to 43% favorable. And then if you look at people who agree with China on human rights, right? If someone spends less than 30 minutes a day on TikTok, okay, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, they had to grade it. They rated about 3.25. Over 30 minutes a day, that jumps to 4.5 points. So you spend enough time on TikTok, you start to find yourself buying stuff you don't need and believing things that aren't true and starting to favor a foreign adversary who wants you to be stupid, fat, lazy, and complacent. And of course, we make all of the references available. Link in the description. Please go check it out.
I'm through.
What's happening? Is this what?
There it is.
What's going on, guys?
My chair? What do you want my chair for?
Well, you're late on your mortgage. Now it belongs to the bank.
What? But I'm sitting here.
Yeah,
guys,
well, too bad.
We're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of a.
Hey, dude, what the hell? What am I? Where am I supposed to sit?
Yeah, it's a bouncy ball. It's good for your back.
I don't know if I believe that.
Oh,
are we gonna?
Well, I'm not in charge of your mortgage payments.
What? Is this what happens when Gerald's not here?
Yeah. If you don't pay your mortgage.
You're very short, Josh.
I'm not. Look, I'll be taller. I got to bounce up.
Actually, I got to tell you, the light is more flattering when you're shorter. You look 10 years younger.
Do I look like
the Bosu ball's already working?
Do I look like Jack after Rose?
You should have gone to American Financing. AmericanFinancing.net/Crowder or call 1-800-974-6500. You can save up to $800 a month on average and delay a mortgage payment for up to 2 months. So call them. Don't be left out in the cold. And I know it's tough out there right now with home buying and mortgages. So, Josh, my heart goes out to you.
Well, my core goes out to you because it's going to be hurting.
Well, it's going to be turned into a candle soon. NMLS 182334.
182334 is the NMLS?
182334. We are covered legally. Speaking of being covered legally, please download the app on Rumble and follow me there because we're about to get into it. We are about to discuss Germany, which is always touch and go historically.
A little bit.
And their imprisoning of their own citizens for jokes, for opinions, for memes, while their country is being lit ablaze by hostile foreign migrants who are being accepted in the name of tolerance. So if I had not been permanently banned from Germany before this segment, I guarantee you by the end of today, I will. So I have said this over and over. The United States is the greatest country in the world. Why? Well, I only need one reason: freedom of speech. We can get to the others, but unless you meet that threshold, I don't even think you're in the running. And Germany certainly isn't even close. There is no other country on earth that has the foundational principle of freedom of speech as we do in this country. Comment below if you understand that. I used to have to argue it in 2015, 2016. I think it's become painfully obvious, but some people still believe that freedom exists, for example, in Europe. Let's look at Germany. Right now, they are literally, and I'm not misusing that term, they are literally jailing people for silly memes.
It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning, and we were with state police as they raided this apartment in northwest Germany. Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home, then seized his laptop and cell phone. Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime. The crime, posting a racist cartoon online.
Posting a racist cartoon. The man in question, we'll get into, his name is, username is Schlomo. So let's just put this in context. Germany acting like a totalitarian regime? Kraut, say it ain't so. What?
My friend is in prison for memes.
Illegal to post these kind of words.
You're looking so ugly.
Pot talking to me? Meet Nazi kettle. Now, in case you were wondering where we line up or how hard we're going to go into this today, in case you're wondering where we line up, and in case you're wondering if I'm ever to be barred from Germany, here's a picture of Albert Einstein, Beethoven, Nietzsche, and Michael Schumacher having a gay orgy. And burning Qurans. Don't think I'll be stamping Deutschland on my passport anytime soon.
Was that in Munich?
Just in case. Also, here's Anne Frank's OnlyFans, where she burns Qurans. I do not like Germany.
Neither does Anne Frank.
No. To be fair, she's just a very famous German. I don't think that she would be defending them here. But it is funny, isn't it? It's just a new form of Nazism. Let's be really clear about that. Like, I know the left, I can't remember, it was on Sunday, was it CBS? I can't remember her name, where she tried to sit down Vance and say, I don't know if was she talking to Vance or Vance addressed her? I don't remember, but she said the Holocaust started in part because of freedom of speech. That's what the left believes. No, I believe that the Holocaust was in large part due to a party who didn't believe at all in freedom of speech or the right to bear arms or freedom of anything, really. I don't believe the primary problem with the Holocaust or any great, by the way, human rights abuses, I don't believe the primary problem with said abuses was freedom of speech. As a matter of fact, I would wager that in every single situation where you examine it, you will find that there is direct infringement on freedom of speech. And I will also argue that every single great civil rights movement started with speech. And that brings us here to the case of Schlomo Finklestein. So this is the person in question. In August of 2022, Finklestein was arrested for incitement and insulting religious beliefs by burning the Quran, I guess putting pork on the Quran, and extinguishing the Quran with pee. Here's the thing. You may not like it. I understand that. You may think it's distasteful to burn the Quran. Yep, you may think it's distasteful to pee on the Quran. I get it. Absolutely. But it doesn't matter. And here's another comparison before I get to the court documents. You need to understand this is a big difference between Christianity and Islam. Christianity certainly today, you can look at majority Christian countries. They do not demand that everyone else conform not just to their laws, but to their views of perceived slights, lest they be beheaded. That's the difference with Islam. Hey, Christians may not like it if you burn the Bible. They don't believe that you have to follow their beliefs or they will kill you. The Quran burning, the depiction of Muhammad, that is Islam infringing upon the rights of everybody else. Okay, I get it. Your religion says that you can't depict Muhammad. Mine does. Them's the breaks. But according to the court in Germany, they said Shlomo's goal in these actions was to insult, degrade, and mock the religion of Islam and the religious beliefs of Muslim people, thereby insult, degrade, and mock all users. He also accepted the risk of inciting all users who were able to view the video to also adopt a hostile attitude toward the religion of Islam and the religious beliefs of Muslim people. What?
I wouldn't want to piss him off either, actually.
Therefore, all users? No. Just the Islamic users who are offended. The users who would most likely empathize with the people raping your women and destroying your towns and running over your citizens with cars. How about we place a little more concern on that side of the ledger? Now, this next video is a little bit long, but it's shortened down from 10 minutes. So I do ask that you pay attention, because don't ask yourself here in the States, and this is very important, the Democrat Party wants us to be like Europe. The Democrat Party wants us to be far more like the left in Germany and Canada. You can see by who they allied with. You can see by the political debates in these countries. I saw it in Canada. The entire Liberal Party, the Trudeaus of Canada, are friends with the Kamalas and the Bidens, and they hate the Trumps. So it's important when you look at these issues to examine not just what does the left do right now with our checks and balances, what would they do if they had their way? The good news is you can see what the right would do, because right now we have it. Right now the left is furious about the imbalance of power, but guess what? We're looking at more freedoms, we're looking at more rights, and we're looking at government efficiency. They think that is the worst abuse of human rights, is Doge right now. Have you seen people actually being silenced or jailed for speech? No. AP not being allowed in the Oval Office because they don't call it Gulf of America doesn't count. When the left has unfettered power, this is always what happens. And they prioritize tolerance and virtue signaling over the well-being of their own citizens. So this is a new recording from the person in question, Schlomo, where he describes this dystopian story in detail surrounding his arrest.
Dear Mr. Vice President J.D. Vance, dear Mr. President Donald Trump, dear Mr. Elon Musk, and dear other friends in America, Germany, and around the world. This is a message from a German prison. On the 13th of August 2024, I was taken away from my girlfriend and son, who just turned 1 at the time. On that day in August last year, I was going for my usual walk with my son, when about 15 undercover policemen and cops wearing ski masks ripped the stroller with my child in it away from me and overpowered me, screaming, "Don't do anything stupid. Think of the child." The reason were 7 counts of hate speech, or as the German law calls it, Volksverhetzung. My crime was playing a few seconds of the politically incorrect parody song "What Does the Black Say" by American comedian Waka Waka Ali. That alone led to a prison sentence of 6 months. They also took a clip in which I made fun of leftists who smear right-wingers as Nazis out of context and charged me with the use of extremist symbols. To visualize what I was talking about, I had shown a historical picture of Goebbels, who was wearing a swastika on his arm. On the 15th of January 2025, the German intelligence agency called Verfassungsschutz visited the prison to talk to me. About 1 month earlier, it surprisingly looked like I could get out on probation this February. The administration of the prison I'm in had weighed in favor of me being released early. I rejected to talk to the German intelligence agency, which is notoriously known for blackmailing people into spying on the political opposition to the left-wing German government and deep state. After I refused to talk to them, 2 weeks went by and I received a letter from the Berlin police. I've never lived in Berlin. In this letter, I was asked to comment on a new case against me. Hate speech, of course. The offenses I'm in prison for right now took place between 2016 and early 2019. For 6 years, there had been no court case against me. And now, the Verfassungsschutz, the German intelligence agency, visits me in prison, I don't talk to them, and 6 days later, the German justice system has cooked up a new hate speech case. I had my court hearing. Not only didn't I get out on parole, the young judge told me that she wouldn't let me out on parole ever. She told me that she doesn't believe I really want to be de-radicalized because I'm still a right-winger. Dear Mr. Vice President J.D. Vance, at almost exactly the same time, I saw your speech at the Munich Security Conference, and it gave me a sliver of hope. Hope that the authoritarian course that my country has taken isn't set in stone.
And by the way, this is why you play no small role. The mammoth size of the audience here and the influence that you have, that emboldens our representatives. It emboldens our politicians to speak on our behalf, and then people abroad also see hope. For reference, this is exactly what J.D. Vance was talking about, and this is the speech that he gave at the Munich Security Conference.
What I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. And unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War's winners. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action.
And here's the takeaway. We cannot have alliances with countries, with nations that not only don't share our fundamental values, but their views are antithetical to our values. So sometimes you say, oh, it's childish, it's petty to post some jokes that might offend Muslims or might. Well, here's what happens. If you don't paint Muhammad, if you don't make jokes, if you don't make fun of everyone equally, you end up with people being jailed because they can be singled out. And by the way, this man, who's a radical right-wing extremist, you were just talking about, he changed his name because he was accused.
That's not his name. Shlomo is not his real name. He was accused by anti-Semites of being too pro-Israel. Right. So he adopted the name Schlomo Finklestein.
Well, I always say it's an accomplishment for us where we get called Nazis and Israeli shills in the same day. Yeah. Or we get called Putin shills or stumping for Ukraine in the same day because we don't like any of them.
By the way, Shlomo Finklestein sounds like my nickname in middle school, Slowpoke Firestine.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry that we had to reopen those wounds. I love how you're still bouncy. Now, do you feel like your core's tightening?
No, my core's pretty tight, bro.
Good for you.
My gut is resting on my legs.
You will be immortalized in the finest of candles. Now,
paint me blue.
This is about priorities, too, with Germany. And really, we've gone through this as far as NATO, and it seems that President Trump may be giving a speech later today. Some rumors are circulating that he may be talking about pulling from NATO. I think it's a negotiating tactic, but we don't know if that's the case or not. It is interesting. So we've talked about the priorities of Europe in providing social benefits, social welfare, free internet, free healthcare, free vacation, free lunches, right? Instead of protecting themselves. Well, these are about the cultural values. So we know they are not aligned with the United States as it relates to military values, as it relates to international treaties. They don't honor. So they're not good friends. But then when you look at your closest friends, your advisors, people you let in your inner circle, let me ask you this. Typically in your life, aren't they people whose values you share? Would you ask for relationship advice from someone who you know doesn't share your values, who you know doesn't share your perspective on relationships? Would you ask for relationship advice on a monogamous marriage, for example, from someone who's in an open marriage, who openly advocates for it? No, you wouldn't. So these are the core values that we're talking about beyond just the military. The priorities of Germany and most of Europe. Their priority is punishing speech, intimidating citizens, while tolerating evil and allowing radical Islamic fundamentalism to flourish. They say this person needs to de-radicalize. I think the people who actually run over your folks with cars need to be de-radicalized. And I think the hundreds of millions of people, Muslims, I believe it's 158 million, we can bring up that poll, who believe that violence is at least sometimes justified. I think that's a bigger problem than memes. So in Germany, some other examples that you have. This is just one that, of course, has captured the media attention. You have some examples where they convicted and fined AfD's Marie-Therese Kaiser for a Facebook post about migrant rape. Not a joke, a post about migrant rape. They shut down Compact Magazine and they arrested the editor for, quote, inciting hatred. They arrested a 64-year-old man who called Deputy Chancellor an idiot on X. That's not even mean. That's a very, very polite insult, especially if he said it with a German accent. Well, you know what? I think you're just an idiot.
Hey.
Hey.
Calling the cops, man.
Look, we have to have boundaries.
I'm calling the polizia.
If I let you go and call an elected official idiots, then everyone would want to.
I'm very smart. Don't say that.
They should make their insults more childish. So
yeah,
you called him a dum-dum.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you poopy head.
Hey! Knock, knock. Who's there? Are you the man who referred to me as fart sniffer?
I believe I said schnitzel sucker.
That's right. I don't play ball like a girl. You're the girl. They conducted in Germany raids and interrogations of 45 people for, quote, misogynistic posts. Hey, could that include men are stronger than women? Could that include women shouldn't be in combat roles? Change my mind? Do you understand? This program and this platform, by the way, Rumble, could not exist in anywhere outside the United States. Do you understand that? And by the way, my heart goes out to the German people who don't want this. Unfortunately, you have been represented by awful, awful spineless cowards for far too long. And there needs to be more done about it. You need to change more minds there.
Well, luckily there are some people who are, bringing these stories like that. The lady who brought us the story was Naomi Sept.
Yes.
I don't know. Excuse me. I'm not saying it right. I'm sure.
Naomi Sept?
Sept?
I don't know. But she broke this story on X. Yeah. And she's done a lot of good work. So we do appreciate it. And please go check her out. So while they're doing this, while they're punishing speech, while they're raiding 45 of their own citizens' homes and places of work for misogynistic posts, there have been 20 terror attacks since 2015 alone. By the way, 3 in just the last month. 3 in just the last month. I'll say it again. 3 in the last month. January 22nd, an Afghan man stabbed another man and a toddler to death in Aschaffenburg. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. German fans, you can correct me. February 13th, an Afghan asylum seeker drove a car into a union demonstration in Munich. 2 were dead, 30 were injured. And then February 22nd, a Syrian refugee stabbed a tourist at a Holocaust memorial in Berlin.
And then there was that one that was just this weekend, wasn't there?
Yeah, we didn't listen because we don't have all the information, but want to bet?
Yeah.
Want to make a guess? And this is how you end up when these same people, and this is the far left, the progressive left, they then blame you for division. You walk out your house and you can see people supporting an ideology that wholeheartedly supports terrorism, at the very least segregation, right? At the very least ghettoizing society, where you no longer feel like you are in Germany. You feel as though you've lost, best case scenario, you feel like you've lost your culture and you no longer have a neighbor who understands where you come from. Worst case scenario, your neighbor may be a terrorist sympathizer. There's at least 158 million across the globe who believe that violence is justified against infidels, at least sometimes. That's the best case scenario. While you see your fellow citizens, the people you went to school with, being arrested and shut down for misogynistic views, or, my God, calling an elected official an idiot. I don't think they share our values. I'm glad we paused the money on Ukraine. I think we need to pull from the UN, and I think we need to make this message heard loud and clear. I really like the work that Vance is doing, and you know what? I feel like I would be doing all of us a disservice, we both did, unless we really put a stamp on guaranteeing that we can never visit Germany.
I agree.
Which brings us to this week's 7+1.
You forgot the one in the chamber.
7+1 jokes that would get us banned from Germany. Josh, we spent some time on this yesterday.
Yes.
Number 7, you have to be my backboard here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Number 7.
Tell us your joke.
Okay, are you ready? Because my friends tell me I'm quite humorous.
I'm ready, Frederick.
All right. Okay, thank you, Bob. I don't know German names. What's a good German name?
Good.
Sven?
Yeah.
I think that's Swedish, but they do it with 2 N's because they're bitches. All right. Number 7.
Olaf.
How many Germans does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know.
9!
Oh.
1 to screw in the light bulb and 8 to exterminate an entire race of people.
That's a good one.
Jokes that will get us banned in Germany, people. We had to do it. Number 6, Mr. Firestine.
How do you tell the difference between a German member of parliament and a pile of festering human excrement?
Oh, I don't know. Can you...
The corn!
The corn! That means they're very similar. Number 5. Why is there no speed limit on the Autobahn?
I don't know.
Because if you're going to spend your whole day being a giant pussy, you want to get there quickly.
Hey, did you hear about those German kids who were diagnosed with ADHD?
That's sad.
They were sent to concentration camps.
Nein! That is distasteful!
They have to focus!
We do not allow that! That is an affliction!
Would you rather I give them Ritalin?
Just say what?
What?
Get him!
Oh, no!
That was number 3! Gotcha, bitch! 7 + 1 jokes that will get us banned from Germany.
Number 5.
Demand your full attention! Number 2.
2? 3. 2?
2.
Da.
Did you hear about the Angela Merkel's massage parlor?
Angela Merkel's massage parlor?
Yeah, no. It's called Guten Tag.
Oh! Disrespectful! She is an elected official! She does not give handjobs!
She gives a very good happy ending.
No!
No sad endings with her.
That is unacceptable in Germany. Number 1. How many proud German natives does it take to stop a radical Muslim motorist?
I don't know. Maybe it's like...
The police report says at least 4.
I didn't read that.
+1. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The Gestapo. We're still around. We hear you have memes. 7 + 1. You forgot the one in the chamber. I didn't want to create a Photoshop of Schumacher and Einstein and Nietzsche having an orgy burning a Quran, but I hope you understand I felt compelled to.
Yeah, I think we're going to post somebody in German Parliament with that.
I have no choice. You made me this way.
Sorry, I didn't do the worst part is I didn't do the accent any justice.
What are you talking about? Stop it.
But,
Stop
hey,
being an erotic comedian.
That's okay.
Great.
He's on a ball.
Yeah, I'm having a ball is what I'm doing. Having a ball making fun of these people. How come you can get arrested for calling an elected official an idiot in Germany, but they can do basically anything they want about our elected officials. Elected officials across the world, they got this carnival going in Germany with this festival. They have all these floats. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
This is okay, but...
There you go. They have that.
It was too far!
They have the AFD there.
They have their own... Yeah. Oh, opposition is okay. Make fun of the opposition. That's fine.
Yeah. And they have Elon Musk with a swastika American flag. And this is the point, guys. The left in Germany, they will try and tell you that this is about tolerance. This is about empathy. It's about weaponizing speech. They don't believe for a second. This is not ignorance. You cannot chalk this up to ignorance. This is a sinister motive. They do not believe for a second that it's acceptable or for some more acceptable to refer to Elon Musk as a Nazi or Donald Trump. They don't. They know it's not. They want to put you in jail for referring to them as idiots. Do you understand? This whole cloak of empathy, that's what people say woke is. Woke means being compassionate toward other people. No, it does not. There's nothing compassionate about weaponizing speech. They tried to do it here in the United States, and it hasn't worked. But it has succeeded in all of Europe. And I think it's time to break ties until they start following our lead. The good news is we have the ability to do that.
Well, speaking of Europe, we just got if you want to go to this, we have a new Zelensky statement just posted where he has a little bit of a change of heart.
Really? After the pause? Hold on a second. So let me just walk through this. President Trump pauses aid to Ukraine after Zelensky acts like a dick. Then he did it. And now we have this new statement from Zelensky. Okay,
yeah, this is a live Crowder called it.
Okay, all right. Let's see it.
I'm going to hit it.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I translate the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're going to win the game. I guarantee it.
All right, breaking live, the statement, if you guys can bring it up.
Yeah, I was going to read it.
Yeah, I got it right here.
We've got a headline associated, not the full statement.
Okay.
Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table, says Zelensky, as he pledges to work with Trump on peace.
and then we have a quote from Zelensky.
Here's his full quote.
All right.
Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace deal that lasts. We remember the moment when things changed, when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it in any time and in any convenient format.
This is not, boy, the only spot where he saved face was the non-apology. Where it's like, we regret that it happened that way. Some may say I had something to do with it. But opinions are like penis holes. Most people have them, usually the strong ones. But the point is, it happened. Let's let bygones be bygones. And now I will do, they pause the, whatever President Trump says so.
I forgot to do the voice.
There's a docu-sign of the agreement. I could sign it right now.
That's right, yes.
With my penis.
I have magic pencil on iPad. I don't need scanner. I can do right away. I can sign from my yacht.
One of them.
Wow.
He went on to say, I'll do the accent, sorry. He went on to say, we see this agreement as a step toward greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively.
Okay. Well, guess what? It'll work because we say it'll work. How about that? So you guys see, Donald Trump was mocked for this. The leftist talking point, the narrative was, I can't believe it. This has embarrassed the United States on the world stage. I want you to separate something right now. The most important distinction you can make. It's very important, right? I don't ever want to tell you what to think. I want to help create more thinkers. To cut through the fog, look at the results. Let's make it that simple. Look at the results. Donald Trump did this, and who did what, and it was embarrassing, and this is a complete violation of protocol. It was lack of decorum. Okay, what are the results? Donald Trump said they have no leverage. We said that. They have no leverage at this point. They're going to come into our house and tell us how things are going to be. No. It's time for the United States to start using the position that we have. See this right now with Zelensky. It's exactly what we told you. That's exactly what is going to happen with Canada, with Mexico. China's a little bit of a tougher nut to crack. Everyone mocked it. Everyone mocked the idea of Donald Trump winning again, too. Keep that in mind. Everyone mocked the idea when we said, I think he may win the popular vote. And I'm not saying this to pat ourselves in the back. I'm saying it so that you understand. We said, look, he's campaign. Look at these. We gave you those numbers. We spent many, many millions of dollars on election night to look at the margins of losses in states like New York. And I think President Trump, very well, there's a 60% chance, I think I put on it, that he would win the popular vote. Everyone laughed. Everyone laughed. You think that Zelensky, you think Ukraine is going, you know what happened? The truth slapped him in the face. Europe went out. They did their virtue signaling, their grandstanding. We stand with Ukraine unwaveringly. Oh, you were expecting us to cut a check. Well, I'm sorry. We'll have to do those in IOUs. All right, let's get them back on the phone.
Do you think that they went right after the meeting? It was like, no, but seriously, you do need to call him back. I know he said a lot of things out there, but
yes. Really,
please pick up the phone.
My primary concern in your diplomacy tactics with President Trump, as genuine as they may be, is it seems you fail to understand. The primary concern we have is, dear God, you shouldn't piss him off. That's, one could argue, I don't want to overstep my bounds, possibly the worst decision you could make.
And he doesn't want to talk about it, by the way.
Hey.
They're still talking about tariffs all morning, tariffs. No news on this. Take as much time as they can to formulate how they're going to spin this into how this is a bad thing and why he shouldn't accept any peace.
I tell you exactly how they're going to spin it. And so, because of Donald Trump being a bully, now Zelensky has to lay down and let Russia win and give up that territory. It was going to happen anyway. You guys understand, Russia is stronger than Ukraine. Without the American dollars and support, Ukraine can do nothing. You see that now. The results. Fewer people are going to die. Is it ideal? No. You never get the ideal result in war. Ever. Name me any war. World War II? No. World War I? No. The Civil War? No. None of it is ideal. That's you have missed the chance at the ideal. That's why you find yourself in war. And the only way out of war is one side wins, conquers, which would be Russia taking over all of Ukraine, or there's some kind of a negotiation where you compromise. That's where Ukraine finds themselves. Instead, because of the media, Ukraine, Zelensky wanted a grandstand. There's grandstanding, there's words, there's actions. There are the results. These are the results. Don't allow yourselves to be gaslit ever again and to be mocked because you're seeing it in real time. They're still not talking about it on CNN. All right.
I will not be mocked.
No, you will not.
Yeah, you said yesterday Zelensky will be back in I think you said either 3 or 5 days with his hat in his hand.
I don't remember, but something like that. Sounds like something I would say.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this here. Epstein, the Epstein Files. There's a lot of news here surrounding this. All right. Full disclosure, before I do this, please do consider joining Rumble Premium. You click that button. We're going to continue today, of course, as we do every day on Rumble Premium. Very likely some big announcements incoming regarding streaming in the next coming weeks. Pam Bondi. If you go back, you'll notice that we really didn't cover as Pam Bondi was sort of being selected going through the process. Certainly less than anyone else. We covered RFK. We covered Hegseth. Of course, we also covered Kash Patel. That was a big one. Tulsi Gabbard. Because I have my reservations about Pam Bondi, and that is not to say that she is not doing her best job. That is not to say that I know definitively, but I saw some things that gave me pause. And I want to lay them out for you. And I think it's important that you comment below and lay out any of your concerns, because if nothing else, we've seen with this administration that they are responsive. So that is a good thing. With Pam Bondi and the Epstein Files. Okay. Well, let's walk you through the timeline, because right now we're hearing that there are thousands of files and that they're likely going to be released. The reason that I'm not as hopeful is because we've been sold this bill of goods before, and at best, it was completely disorganized. At worst, it was dishonest in an attempt to gain more time in the limelight. Bondi, the AG, took center stage, and she did say last week that she was going to be releasing, and everyone was waiting for this. It was the #1 trend all across social media, releasing, quote, new Epstein information.
Breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay. You're going to see, and it's sick, what is in these files. That was 5 days ago. Instead of getting any new Epstein information, we actually got information that included less than was publicly available. We got some influencers at the White House and some binders, right? The photo op. Now, I want to be clear here. This is not to condemn all of the influencers who were there. I know people, of course, like Haya. I'm trying to think of who else was there. Haya. Scott Pressler has done unbelievable work on the vote. So I think they were thrust into a situation where at that moment in time, they believed what they had was new, and I guarantee you they were strongly encouraged to take pictures. They were all taking pictures with the binder in the same spot. They didn't know that they had the wool pulled over their eyes. Now, that's not to say some influencers wouldn't care anyway. There are some people who will simply sell their soul for a buck, but that's not all the people who were there. Okay? So can I please be clear about that? But they came out and said, look, we've got new Epstein files. Everyone was ecstatic. Then it turned out there was nothing in there.
That's actually my social studies homework.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just put a different cover on there. Turns out there was nothing in there that was new and a lot of information that was redacted. So then Bondi went and blamed that rollout on the FBI New York field office withholding information and gave them a deadline which seemingly wasn't enforced on that exact timeline, but eventually worked out.
Let me start with the Epstein case, because there was an expectation that this was going to be bigger. You had the same expectation.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them. And Kash is also, now that we have Kash here, it's a game changer, of course. And Kash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Now, to be clear, I have a lot more faith in Kash Patel than I do in Pam Bondi. It's not to say that I dislike AG Bondi. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a distinct lack of organization or a lack of concern for being honest. With something like this, it's not that it's just about Epstein. It's not that it's just about children being sexually trafficked, though that's kind of a big deal to me. It's about the fact that this vindicates a lot of people who were accused of being conspiracy theorists. Right? Okay, Pizzagate maybe wasn't real, but the idea that there was an actual pedophile ring very much is. And not enough people have gone to jail. There hasn't been enough justice. This is about this is pretty important because it's about restoring faith in our institutions. And I think that you would restore more faith in our institutions if you were being straight with the American people, because we've been told that we would get all of these files, this information day one. But we've also heard that these intelligence agencies have been destroying evidence. Now, my guess is if they were destroying any evidence, whether it's the FBI, the CIA, the very first place they would start would be Epstein. If that's the case, the people who've put their faith in you need to know. Last night, Ms. Bondi said that she had received, quote, truckloads of new Epstein evidence. We'll see. I hope so, but I'm not holding my breath. So Miami Herald reporter Julie K. Brown, who led, by the way, the 2017 probe into Epstein, wrote this on X. There is no Jeffrey Epstein client list, period. It's a figment of the internet's imagination and a means to just slander people. What do you think? You think we're going to get anything? By the way, weirdest flight log was the combination of Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, and Bill Clinton.
Yeah, what were they doing?
Yeah. I mean, I think they were going to do some kind of charity work in Africa. I don't know if there's video footage of Kevin.
Charity work, you know this, man.
Also, next to Kevin Spacey, I'm going to burn my asshole. It stings.
I think if there was ever a client list, if there ever was this, crazy incriminating evidence, they deleted it. They've already. If they didn't want us to know, they didn't keep it.
Yeah.
In some kind of Jason Bourne safe.
This doesn't look. This can harm the credibility of people. And by the way, yes, you are a journalist, right? President Trump was able to run for president because of the work that Mug Club Undercover did, in no small part, right? Exposing the DOJ and the witch hunt. That was a big deal. Shining a light on it made them gun shy. They had to recede a little bit. Go, okay, all eyes are on us. There is value in that, and you, anyone watching, listening, can be a journalist. But it's important that at this point in time we have to look at results and not blow the credibility, because then the legacy media will say, see, told you so. You need people who've gone to diploma mills and have a journalism degree. Let's go through Bondi's record and why I think there's a pretty stark contrast to Patel, because some people may say I'm being inconsistent. I have quite a bit of faith in Patel, in Kash Patel. I don't have a ton in Pam Bondi. The good from Pam Bondi's record. She fought opioid pill mills. Right? Prior to being AG, she led efforts to shut down 98 pill mills in Florida, which is pretty big. I believe 98 of the 100 pill mills nationwide was a big topic of discussion at that point in time, were in Florida. She was the tip of the spear in stopping human trafficking initiatives, right? She chaired the Florida Statewide Council on Human Trafficking. There was a zero tolerance policy on enforcement and on prosecution. She enhanced penalties, working with the Florida legislature. And most importantly, she looks like this at 60 years old.
Not bad. I would not guess 60.
No.
If I got to guess 46.
Yes. Now, the bad, and the reason we didn't, because I don't feel it's my role to attack someone when the wheels are already in motion or to point out flaws if it's not helpful. We just didn't cover Pam Bondi all that much because there wasn't a whole lot we could do. Remember, there was this kind of switch with Matt Gaetz, the bad. She supported red flag laws right after Parkland. There were gun control laws, which included red flag, like we said, those sort of confiscation orders, a ban on 18 to 20-year-olds owning firearms, the bump stock ban, which is just a political football, and anyone who sort of acquiesces on that right away gives me pause. Something else, and this is where I am most concerned, is the money that she has received from foreign entities. So July 2019, she was registered under FARA as a lobbyist for Qatar, receiving $115,000 a month.
Those are the good guys, right?
Yeah. The guys who also send money to Hamas. Yeah. Also the biggest investors in our educational, so higher education, which is still bizarre to me. She advised, counseled, and assisted in matters there with these folks who were paying her $115,000 a month, the effectively Qatari government, to be clear. She's no longer listed as a lobbyist now. Now, it comes down to results, because people can do those things, they can make mistakes, but the results are what we are looking at right now. Pam Bondi seems to be more interested in the limelight than in doing the job. So since becoming AG, she's made at least 7 appearances on Fox News, like the ones that you just saw. Let's compare that to Kash Patel. 0. None since becoming FBI director. None at all.
Like he's working or something.
Kash Patel is working. I believe that Kash Patel, some people thought he would be like a dog chasing a car, wouldn't know what he would do when he caught it. No. I believe that this guy eats, sleeps, and breathes deconstructing the FBI and reforming it. I think that's what he wanted to do, and now he has the opportunity, and he is going full steam ahead. I'm not seeing that from Pam Bondi. And we haven't been seeing that these last couple of weeks. And I know for a lot of people, I mean, for crying out loud, we recreated Jeffrey Epstein's entire cell.
That's right. We built a replica cell.
I could effectively hang myself,
Yes.
and it was physically impossible, right? This is a big story to a lot of people because it exposes a lot of truth. It's not something that should be taken lightly. It's not just something that is a talking point on cable news to set up a position once you're no longer in office. You can comment below. I don't want to be too harsh here, but I'm not holding my breath on the Epstein files. And I think that's a great disservice to the American people. Look, if they were destroyed, tell them. That's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine.
They don't string us along, though.
Yeah.
Knowingly. That's what it feels like. Everything she says on her Fox News interviews feels like it's just a bunch of nothing.
Yes.
Or at least proofread the report before you hand it to a bunch of journalists and pose for pictures with it.
Yeah.
Well, so that you know that there's actual substance in it and not nothing.
And it was very clear that the influencers were requested to take pictures and hold it up.
They knew what they were doing.
They were all
Some of them did. Some of them, I think if you're there,
no, not the influencers. Pam Bondi or whoever was holding the
department knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Get this out there and let people know so we can get this trending, right? And I know some of those people who were there. People like Hyatt, people like Scott Pressler, who I guarantee you, if they knew this was a whole lot of nothing, would not have taken pictures. Exactly. But you're there, you're taking, why would this person give you their word that there's something in there that's new, that's a bombshell? Why would they, unless that was clearly the case? I would imagine that some of them are upset and have been hung out to dry. And I would imagine that some of them just want to defend their little slice of influence. If you're using your influence for only yourself and not helping serve the American people, well, I think it ceases to be of value. So it seems that President Trump's AG, Bondi, is creating a little bit of adversity for him. And nobody knows how to deal with adversity better than ex-President George W. Bush.
Here's some advice. From president to president, I can tell you that it's important to keep your sense of humor. The world can be a very serious place. The more we're able to laugh at ourselves, the less scary this world becomes. Except for the Muslims. Don't joke about them. They will blow shit up. I seen it. Twice. I was just trying to read to some kids. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. F***ing towers came down. Here's some advice.
Poor guy. Speaking of advice, here is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Well, I guess former, but I guess he still is right now. It's ceremonial. Offering advice and grandstanding. Let's see if he pulls a Zelensky here and makes some statements that he can in no way back up before he starts groveling. Consider that a called it.
Is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
They have opponents?
And now, to my fellow Canadians. I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed.
How are you going to pay for it?
Oh, you mean subsidizing?
Canada, make no mistake. Okay. No matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will defend Canadian jobs.
And tax you.
We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers.
Really? Trade war. Let's be really clear about this. When he's saying the Canadians will pull together, he's saying this attack. Okay, how long is it how long are you willing to allow this willing to allow this to go on, Prime Minister Trudeau, rather than simply Make the tariffs fair. Are people forgetting that in this equation, that Canada's been doing it for a long time? That really what Donald Trump has done is he said he's going to match what it is that they are doing. Hey, how long are you going to let this go on? You mean instead of sealing up the border, instead of securing your side of the border, the biggest unprotected border, I believe, on earth, don't quote me on that, but pretty damn close, where if we seal up our southern border, they're just going to come through Canada. That's the hill you're willing to die on? You're willing to die on the hill of, hey, you know what? Take off your tariffs. Just start playing the same game that the United States has been doing. We're not asking for anything disproportionate. This grandstanding right now. We will go on for as long as it takes. Okay, yes, we will take that deal. We'll take that deal and we'll just make sure that the tariffs are the same as yours. That sounds fair. That actually does sound fair. You absolute grandstanding, sniveling pussy. Two sides of the same coin. Him and Zelensky, there is no difference between the two. That's what we're dealing with.